On tonight's CTV News, new statistics detail the most dangerous industry in the country. We continue our series with Christchurch City Councillors reflecting on their first year in office, and Christchurch is preparing for the largest tennis competitions the city has seen in 15 years. This is CTV News, I'm Grant Mangan. National figures from work-related injuries has shown that Canterbury workplaces are safer than you may think. Emma Cropper has the details.
Farming, forestry and fishing are topping the list as New Zealand's most dangerous professions. Statistics released from ACC show that those occupations claim 226 injuries per 1,000 full-time employees. The figures show men led the way when it came to injuring themselves in the workplace, making up 73% of all ACC claims. But Canterbury wasn't among the regions, leading the pack with the highest accident rates. The Hawke's Bay, Northland and the Bay of Plenty taking out that top spot. In February, CTV News went inside a rebuild site to see what safety measures were in place to protect local workers.
What we have in front of me is the trench, which can be up to 2 or 3 metres deep. One of our safety precautions is our edge protection, which is a physical barrier which will stop people from walking into the trench and eliminates that risk for us on the site.
Skirt's General Manager Duncan Gibb is leading the efforts of the largest infrastructure rebuild in New Zealand's history. He believes site safety has come a long way.
We are doing things better now than we were 3 or 4 or 5 years ago.
Looking out for workers is first and foremost the most important part of the Canterbury rebuild.
The fact is our business is our people, and the real big thing is that you really want your people not to get hurt at work. There's nothing quite as bad as having to go to someone's house and tell them that their husband was killed at work today because of something you did badly. And I've got to say, there's a huge focus on safety in this rebuild.
A joint initiative between local construction companies and the government has highlighted the need for safer work sites in the city. The Canterbury Rebuild Safety Charter has been signed by 39 leaders in the rebuild and endorsed by 12 others. WorkSafe New Zealand says it shows that safety in the rebuild was improving.
And they've identified high-risk activities such as excavation work, mobile plant and asbestos and falls from height as being high-risk work or critical risks involved in the rebuild. So there's a huge amount of awareness around safety.
Figures show that the highest rates of injury claims came from workers aged between 15 and 24 and those over 65. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
Christchurch City Holdings Limited has made a $400 million profit. That's 21% more than the previous year. The Christchurch City Council-owned company today released its annual review and report for the last financial year. CCHL made a profit of $402 million, nearly $71 million more than in 2013. The company also paid $52 million in dividends to the City Council, and that's $6 million more than was originally budgeted. CCHL's chairman Bruce Irvine says factors like Littleton Port Company's insurance revenues have contributed to the large profit. Tonight we continue with our series looking at City Councillors' aspirations, goals and regrets as they mark the end of their first year of this current term at the Christchurch City Council. Joelle Bautista spoke with Councillor Glenn Livingston, who's serving his second term.
News that New Brighton is to be the finish line for one of the region's best known multi-sport competitions is exciting for Eastern residents. A highlight of the year for Councillor Glenn Livingston.
If those conversations about the coast-to-coast finish line coming to New Brighton, I think that'll be just absolutely wonderful for the community and really makes February a big month.
Looking back over another year at the council bench, Councillor Livingston says it hasn't been an easy year.
I think it's been a hard year, a lot of work. I was on the previous council, and if I make a comparison, the workload I think has doubled.
There's progress in the social housing sector, Councillor Livingston says. With this council, things are really moving forward.
I think we've pushed along with our repair program. We've actually built some new units over at Morris Carter Courts. We've pushed on things such as renewable tenancies and people not having to, why should they have to pay to renew their tenancy? We've written to MB over that.
The council's social housing rebuild program hasn't made headlines since the opening of the Morris Carter courts in May. However, Councillor Glenn Livingston says work underway will soon come to fruition.
We're working on some closed unit repairs in terms of the housing portfolio. We've got about 71 which we really want to get open to try and get that waiting list down, so it's a big one for us. And we've got a big report coming back on all our old and cold units and what to do with them, and the biggest, the best use of the EQC check to get those units open for our people.
A major disappointment for Councillor Livingston has been the failed scheme to relocate red-zoned houses onto council land. This was an initiative he pushed for.
Over trying to shift red zone houses, which hasn't come off, I'm really, I'll let it go, but it's something I really wanted to make happen, and for different reasons it hasn't. So I feel frustrated over that, but I'll just have to get over that and move on and focus on other projects.
Councillor Livingston is proud to be part of the push for the Eastern Recreation Centre.
For the pool location for the Eastern Rec and Sport to be brought forward on September 4 with the council meeting in the ward and the preferred location of QE2. So that's been a real highlight in the last year.
Looking ahead to the future, Councillor Livingston is certain he wants to see the rebuild through.
I really want to be here to see a lot of these. I want to be there when QE2 opens. I want to see New Brighton start to evolve more. So yeah, I really want to be here. And people's houses fixed. That's those and the roads, our top priorities.
Signalling a potential third term following the 2016 local body elections. Joelle Batista, CTV News.
Coming up, post-earthquake mental health issues came back under the spotlight.
Join Graham Sinclair and the team at Gone Fishing as they bring you great stories, fishing tips and beautiful scenery. Gone Fishing, Friday night at 8:30, right here on CTV.
Undergone home renovations? Looking for that special something to complete a room? Look no further than the Hitching Post. Their extensive range ensures you can find that special something. From plasma cut metalwork to candles, artwork, weather vanes, or even a customised gate. So come on down to the Hitching Post, 722 Marshland Road.
Introducing My Freeview.
This fella doesn't just preserve your right to watch free digital TV. It fits your viewing around your life. Too busy putting out fires? Record at the touch of a button. Want to watch one channel and record another? You can. And if you need to nip away,
Hit pause, even a live show.
for a one-off payment, you can enjoy free view when it suits you, not someone else.
It's like having your own TV station at home without monthly fees or contracts. My Freeview. It's Kiwi for TV.
My son's helped me greatly with my independence now that I've got more mobility.
Mum, I've been looking into stand assist chairs from More Mobility. They recline back with a footrest. Then when you want to get out of them, they stand you up. You can even sleep on them. More Mobility can bring one out for a free trial. There's even electric beds too. What do you think? For more range and more expert advice, see More Mobility, corner Clarence and Princess Streets off Blenheim Road.
What a difference more mobility makes.
It's Blackwell's Mazda Demolition Sale, with prices on selected demonstrators that'll blow you away. BT50 4x4 from $39,995. CX5 from $35,595. Mazda 6 LTD from $49,995. CX9 from $55,495. And Mazda 3 from $30,800. The clock's ticking. These prices could blow any second. Call Blackwell's Mazda Stockburn today.
I'm Chris Lynch. Join me for CTV's new current affairs show Lynched every Monday at 8:30 right here on CTV, where I talk to the decision makers and those responsible for running our city.
A local teenager is inspiring her fellow students as she continues to lead the school despite recently suffering from a brain aneurysm. Emma Cropper has the story.
say the show must go on, and 18-year-old Hannah Price is proving just that.
Because you know how you go up and you go, hey, and then you turn around, try and get it so it's like...
Defying the odds, Hannah's showing medical professionals that a little determination and dedication can go a long way. Rangiora High's head girl is directing Year 12 and 13 theatre arts students in their production of Halloween Town, but it hasn't been smooth sailing.
I had a normal day at school and everything like that, and then I was just going to play sport, and I just hopped out of the car and literally just dropped, and I collapsed and went unconscious.
Seen by 17 doctors over 24 hours. It was only at the end of her 4-week stay in hospital when the drama student was told it was a brain aneurysm.
So for the first 3 weeks I couldn't do anything at all. I couldn't even lift my neck up, I couldn't move my hair, I was completely out to it, and for the good week I couldn't see anything, everything was just completely black. 2 months away from school meant missing rehearsals and relying on social media to keep the show on track. Although there were a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, everything like that, Facebook messages, photos, videos, just to try and keep up with it.
With just 2 weeks until opening night, Hannah ignored medical advice and was back to school 1 day after being discharged from hospital.
Yeah, I'm not actually meant to be at school full-time yet, but I am just for the show, so...
Can't keep away from it?
No.
Now the teenager is not only back to directing the cast, but starring in the show itself, despite still dealing with health complications.
And it still comes and goes, like now. I can't always see, and I can only read for about 10 minutes, and it'll just black out sort of thing.
The Year 13 student is hoping with no further setbacks she will be accepted into medical imaging training next year, a chance to work in a field she's learnt so much about in the past 2 months. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
Post-earthquake mental health issues came back under the spotlight during a special committee meeting at the Christchurch City Council today.
Christchurch's most vulnerable are in need of extra help. That's the consensus from this afternoon's inaugural Communities, Housing and Economic Development Committee meeting. 7 city councillors discussed the opportunity for collaboration between the City Council and the Canterbury District Health Board to help people with mental health issues.
Yeah, really important. They've got a lot of good data about what's going on over housing, obviously, and health. A lot of our people come through there and they've been there as outpatients becoming inpatients because there's nowhere for them to actually stay.
The councillors' comment follows last month's Housing Committee meeting when Tony Goodslarg shared the CDHB's concerns over an accommodation shortage in Christchurch for people with mental health issues. She highlighted that the demand for mental health services in Christchurch has increased dramatically following the earthquakes. Councillor Glenn Livingston says the council may be able to help.
If we built more units, that would equate to the same cost for them at the moment of actually keeping people in there, so it's really important we develop that close relationship.
Following her comments, the committee issued a report into what the council can do better to help some of the most vulnerable in the city. The executive summary states that since 1938, the City Council has been involved in the delivery and management of social housing. The council is the second largest rental landlord in New Zealand, with a portfolio including 2,649 units. However, 444 units are earthquake damaged and are either closed, in the red zone, or have been demolished. The social housing waiting list has shown a steady increase in demand over the past 2 years, increasing from 290 applicants in March to 319 in May. There is strong demand for private rentals from displaced residents and incoming rebuild workers. This makes it difficult for people on low incomes and mental health or other complex needs to compete for the housing. Former Housing Minister Nick Smith has previously signalled that the City Council needs to get on with repairing its social housing stock to help meet the high demand.
I'm saying to them that they need to lift their game around their own community housing, that Housing New Zealand and the private sector is ahead of that. I am very encouraged by the progress that we're making with the Housing Accord, but if I was the City Council, I would say their first duty is to get their own housing stock fixed, and they've got a big job ahead.
The City Council is predicting that the private rental market will continue to be under pressure over the next 18 months, while residential repairs and rebuilds are completed. However, by December 2015, Housing New Zealand will have finished building 700 new homes to help those most in need. Councillor Livingston now wants to discuss how the council can work closer together with the CDHB to help the most vulnerable in Christchurch. He'll report back at the next meeting. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
November is just 2 weeks away, and we thought now would be the perfect time to challenge Earthquake Recovery Minister Jerry Brownlee to grow a moustache for Movember. As Canterbury's community channel, we believe that prostate cancer is an important issue. We're proposing a challenge involving the Minister and tradesmen obviously rather than tradespeople, working on the anchor projects. On the 5th of November, we hope to film the ministerial shaving. We will announce whether or not the Minister is taking up the challenge later in the month. For the first time in 15 years, the New Zealand Davis Cup men's team are returning to Christchurch. Beginning next week, the New Zealand side will face off against Chinese Taipei. CTV's Red and Black Sports spoke to the Canterbury Tennis CEO and the team captain.
It's exciting news for Christchurch tennis fans as international tennis returns to the Canterbury court. The cup will be played at the indoor centre at Wilding Park. With only a week to go, the Christchurch venue is still busy preparing.
Yeah, there is a lot of work ahead. It's a big gig and it's exciting to have it back in Christchurch for sure. It's been a long time since we've had it here, so we really want to put on a great show.
Canterbury Tennis Chief Executive Neil Pryor is confident fans will come out in droves to support the home side.
This will be a tough tie for sure. You know, the two teams will be pretty closely matched, and Al will talk through the teams. But this is going to be pretty tough. So really need those Cantabs to turn up.
Neil Pryor says Christchurch has been starved of international tennis for a long time.
We know our tennis community are going to get right behind this, and so they should. They've been starved of international tennis for quite some time now. So if they don't get behind it, I'm not sure exactly what we need to do to get them there.
With many of our top tennis players competing overseas, the question is, who will be in New Zealand's winning combination?
We've probably got a bit more option now. You know, the four guys are all playing pretty well.
And playing good doubles.
Yeah, which is good. Probably the last couple of years we've sort of had one or two guys, but it's going to be a good team.
The team will be publicly named next Thursday at 11 a.m. The players in Alistair Hunt's dream team are still unknown, but he says there's a good bunch to choose from.
We're pretty lucky actually. These guys are having their best year this year. So you've got, Michael Venus, who's played all 4 Grand Slams in doubles. He's ranked about 60 at the moment.
In doubles?
In doubles.
Yeah.
Artem Sitak's jumped up to, he's sort of about 65 in doubles, so he played US Open as well. Artem Sitak.
Yep.
Marcus Daniel, he's had a pretty handy year in doubles and is not too bad in singles either. And then there's the old sort of stalwart Ruben Statham, who's been injured, but he's a very
fully
good.
fit?
Yeah, yep.
Good.
But a good seasoned Davis Cup player, but he's had probably about 6 months off with injury.
Both tennis gurus acknowledge that tennis is a solo sport. While there's not much opportunity here in New Zealand, our top players are taken overseas. Alistair Hunt says it's not always about finding the pot of gold.
They all love playing for their country, and that's, you can see in their past results they've all competed really well and, they've made themselves available most of the time.
Neil Pryor reassures regardless of the players overseas, when they return to the court, they know who they are playing for.
Tennis is essentially an individual sport. It's like golf. So for these guys who are touring the world, they're playing for themselves, they're playing for their career. But when they get back into Davis Cup, they're playing for their country, and that's big. And I'm sure that Al will be reinforcing that for them, if it needs, in fact, reinforcing.
The New Zealand roster of the Davis Cup tie runs from the 24th to the 26th of October, with New Zealand facing Chinese Taipei. Joel Batista, CTV News.
Still to come, the weekly business report and your local weather update.
Kids Television is right here on CTV. Tune in every Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. for an exciting range of fantastic kids programming. Join in with all the fun Saturday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on CTV.
Action Removals, offering short or long-term storage facilities, full packing services, comprehensive rates, all fully insured and with 6 vehicle sizes to choose from. Earthquake repairs? Action Removals pack, move, store and return your valuable possessions stress-free. Action Removals, a family business that has been operating in Christchurch for over 10 years. Action Removals, your one-stop removal service on time, every time. 0800 222 526.
Just 7 minutes north of Christchurch, Silverstream is a unique residential community carefully planned and developed within a rich natural environment. A family home or terraced villas, Silverstream offers a wide range of living options for every stage of life. The show homes are open. You can select your section, design your home and choose your builder. Purchase the house and land package or the terraced villa for streamside living. Silverstream, a community for everyone. It's closer than you think.
Come on down to Ferrymead Golf. Care for a game of paintball? How about some swings on the old driving range? Or on our par 3 9-hole golf course? Test your skills on the mini golf course or have a go at the airgun shooting range. Then relax at the Wow Cafe with one of our super succulent Wow Burgers. Whether you want to perfect your swing or are looking for a fun family day out, come down to Ferrymead Golf, 50 Ferrymead Park Drive, right next to the Ferrymead Heritage Park.
The mission statement of Red and Black Sport is always to bring a voice to achievers in sport, be it Canterbury, New Zealand or internationally. We'll continue to do that here on CTV with Red and Black Sport. Don't miss it every week.
Now here's Warren Head with your local business update.
I'm Warren Head from headliner.co.nz. It's not only the sports pages that can sometimes have really exciting news, and overnight, boy, we had plenty. Reading the bank reports this morning, it was all gloom and despondency and caused by fears in America, right across Europe and also in London. At one stage, the New York markets were really going to town downwards, about 300 points at one point. Closed up on that, but still finished down overall about 170 points there. And in London, the market there was down 181 points. What's the problem? Well, it's all about concern whether or not the recovery is moving fast enough on both sides of the Atlantic, and Ebola scares on both sides, both in North America and in Europe. So there is some fear out there, and that's transferred to the financial markets. And today we had a little bit of a bath on the Kiwi market as a result. Except for the dollar. The dollar, bizarrely, went up and kept on going up as the US dollar went down. So that's a little oddball. But however, overnight there was another small aberration. Dairy prices actually went up again. The long-running downward trend seems to have paused for the moment, and the prices weren't too bad. Whole milk powder prices are up 3%, and overall the winning prices were up about 1.4 in US dollar terms. Now, I don't want to get any farming viewers too excited about this. The market is still very finely balanced, still nowhere near a turnaround. And just bear in mind that at the moment these wholesale milk prices are well below the US $3,500 a tonne mark, at which Fonterra would achieve their lower forecast for 2015 of $5.30, so a long way south of that critical payout price yet. Optimistically, today the Business New Zealand people came out and said that manufacturing was up right across New Zealand, up very strongly, of course, in Canterbury, expansion mode here and everywhere else, including Otago, Southland. I always think that all the good stuff always starts in the south and moves north. However, last night, most of the innovation awards went somewhere else. And the big winner, the Supreme New Zealand Innovator Company of the Year, was Precision Seafood Harvesting. Now, this company has manufactured a basket which has got holes in the bottom, and the fish swim out the bottom. In fact, all the small fish escape, the big ones stay, and the non-targeted fish swim away to sea alive and unharmed, to be caught another day. So that was the big winner. And down south here in Christchurch, Instech, exciting business that has a surgical product which helps orthopaedic surgeons doing knee replacement jobs. They won a big award for their technique which avoids trauma in the quadriceps muscle area of the knee. All those at home with sore knees will know exactly what I'm talking about, I hope. But it was good stuff for them, great design and going well. And later today I went to the annual meeting of SLI Systems in the city. Upbeat company. It manufactures a product that helps you at home search more effectively online for those shopping channel sites, those retailers selling on the net. And people who sign up with SL Systems tell me they're getting phenomenally good results. So, exciting story from SLI Systems with a great product there. I'm Warren Head from headliner.co.nz.
Time now to check out your regional weather.
Kia ora Canterbury, let's take a look at your region's weather. First in Timaru, Temuka and Geraldine, 19 today. Methven, Ashburton and Rakar hitting a high of 19 degrees. Darfield, Leeston and Ralston, you hit a high of 19 also. Looking now at Lincoln and Christchurch, you hit 19 degrees. Over in Akaroa, 19. Looking now at Rangiora, Kaipoi and Amberley, slightly warmer than the southern areas, hitting a high of 21. Getting warmer as we head further north. Culverden, Hanmer Springs and Cheviot all had the region's high of 23 degrees. At the very top in Kaikoura, they hit 22. But what's in store for tomorrow? In Timaru, thick high cloud and decreasing northwesterly winds will make for a mild but rather dull Friday in Timaru. Watch out for rain developing late in the afternoon and evening, hitting 11 degrees overnight and 17 throughout your day. In Ashburton, a heavy deck of middle to high cloud will keep the sun away, but breezy northwesterlies should keep temperatures mild, hitting 11 degrees overnight and 17 during the day. Christchurch, fine and mild with plenty of high cloud about for your Friday, hitting a low of 11 and a high of 18. At the top in Kaikoura, fine with thick high cloud and a mild northwesterly breeze is expected this Friday. 11 is your low and your high will be 19 degrees. And in other areas around the region, Temuka and Geraldine, a high of 17 and a low of 10. Methven and Rakar, cloudy for most parts of the day with a high of 17. Darfield, 17. Leeston and Ralston, cloudy for most parts of the day with a high of 18. Looking at Lincoln, expect a high of 18 and low of 11. Over in Akaroa, expect a high of 18 degrees for your Friday. Rangiora, Kaipoi and Amberley, cloud for most parts of the day with a high of 18 degrees. At the top in Culverden, Hanmer Springs and Cheviot, expect the region's high on 19. And looking ahead for the rest of Canterbury, cloudy on Saturday with outbreaks of light rain, then clearing in the day, becoming cold with moderate southerly winds. Cloud will clear and sunny periods will come about on Sunday with moderate northeasterly winds developing. Fine at first on Monday with high cloud and northerly winds, but a period of showers and colder southwesterly winds freshening during the afternoon. Frosts possible at first on Tuesday, then fine and sunny with northeasterly winds and pleasant temperatures. Mostly cloudy on Wednesday with moderate cool northeasterlies. And that is all for your region's weather. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
And that's CTV News for Thursday. I'm Grant Mangan. Good night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.